hello.
Yo, what's up?
Uh, I'm fine. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Yo, everybody out there in YouTube land, welcome to another Project Console. Title of this episode is Shadow Drop. Uh, Glad to have you here. Those who are watching live or those who are watch the upload. Before we get into it, I'd like my panelists to introduce himself.
Yo, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters, which is a history and media, and we talk about it. Glad to be on another cast.
Glad to have you. So, before we start in our topics, what have you been playing?
Um, well, I've been playing a lot of just games that I normally would not be playing because I wanted to do something a little bit different. Um, so, like, started playing a little bit of Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
That game is much better than it has any business being.
Oh, yeah.
Like on paper, that game should be just some try-hard bullshit, but it actually is legitimately very good.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be surprised considering that Shinji Mikami was involved with making it, and I have not played a Shinji Mikami game that was terrible yet.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's kind of funny. The Resident Evil guy, the horror game guy, makes this like brightly colorful. Uh, Looks like it should be
yeah,
on an HD Dreamcast game.
yeah, it feels like a sixth. It feels like one of those games we used to get in the sixth gen all the time.
Yeah,
That would be like $30 or $40, and you're like, oh man, this is really good. They don't make those games that much anymore,
yeah,
you know. So I played a little bit of that. I've been enjoying that, and I've also just been, been getting the bugs out of my new gaming PC setup. Sorry, my streaming PC setup. I'm in the process of essentially getting that thing fixed so that because I'm trying to up the RAM from 32 to 64.
yeah,
Um, so there'll be like more. So I'll have more memory to do other things, and there
yeah.
won't be like a
I've been contemplating doing that because I've been looking at some of these games and they're starting to ask for 16. Some are get creeping closer to 32, and I'm just like it's almost time to upgrade the RAM. I see.
Yeah, the downside for me is that even with my new build, I have a I got not a budget. I got a really good motherboard, but it's still kind of older. So in order for me to update the RAM to where I can use some of the higher end RAM, I'd have to basically download the reflash the BIOS, and I just don't want to do that because then
Yeah.
that resets all your settings, and you have to I have to redo my LEDs, redo all my timings and all that shit. I don't feel like doing that because I didn't write any of that shit down.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get the 64 megabytes of RAM and what I already had 64 megabytes in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or 64
64
gigs. Sorry.
gigabytes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what
64
you're saying.
gigs. So I'm just like, I'm gonna do it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's one of those things. It's like, oh man, that's the one downside about having a is when you update your RAM, if you don't get the right timing for it, like if it doesn't match what you've already have, it makes everything else like sometimes you can you can screw yourself. So anyone listening to this, if you're going to update your RAM, match the megahertz to what you already have, so you're not like messing up your computer.
Yeah.
Um, and don't get rid of your RAM until you've tested. Don't get rid of your old RAM until you've tested it and know that the new RAM is compatible with your motherboard and everything else that you have in your PC. I've never
Yeah.
made that mistake, but I had friends who did, and that was whew, that's rough.
Well, what do they try to do? They tried to go past the recommended speed.
No, they updated the RAM, but the thing is that they went for a speed that they didn't necessarily have like basically the RAM was too high end.
Yeah.
It was clocked too high, and their motherboard wasn't really designed to take something of that speed. So what happened is that it messed up their like they couldn't use their PC the way they were using it
Yeah.
because new RAM. So what wound up happening is and they made the mistake of just slotting in the new RAM and then just get rid of the old RAM. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. So then they had to go and buy new RAM. And the thing is, there's a lot of RAM now, but sometimes there's RAM shortages because people are buying RAM for other shit.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where, like, good luck trying to find that RAM. So I'm just saying, if you're going to upgrade, don't, like, if you're going to upgrade, and this is not just a RAM thing, this is any of the parts for your PC, don't throw away parts because you never know when, functionally you might have to go back. Like, don't throw away a graphics card because your new graphics card might use far more power, or the bus for your system might not be up to the type of graphics card you bought. So you're not going to be able to use it. So it's like you just kind of sort of, what I'm saying is, don't throw away parts until it's time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 It's because sometimes, yeah, when you have too high end of memory, sometimes it might be your board or it might be your CPU.
Yeah.
CPU might not. So you gotta be Yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
If you're using a really budget board, then even if you use high end memory, it's not really gonna, you know.
Yeah, I mean, don't if you want to use high end parts, don't skimp out on the board. Really,
Yeah.
don't skimp out on anything if you're looking to build high end. Like, don't cheap,
Well,
don't cheap
let me
out
put it
on
this way:
anything.
if you have a mid upper end upper tier board, those are designed to take a lot low end and high end parts. But if you have a high end board, everything about it is going to have to be high end.
Yeah,
And that sometimes that's a detriment if you're trying to, if you have a board that if you have a build like the build that I did this time, my streaming rig, I basically want to not have to really update it except maybe like a graphics card update for the next like 5-6 years. So everything I have in there is like designed to be modular and easy to get to. I got a case that you can just do very little to, and you're there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I liked it.
Yeah. Well, I've been what I've been playing is I've been jumping between Hi-Fi Rush. I when I first started this game up, it's like that opening cutscene with the animations. I was like, man, really in for something. That was a feeling I got, and it's very
Back in
rare.
the day when you were a kid and
Yeah,
you turn a
it's
game on, and it's like,
it,
yeah,
it did feel like being a kid again. Well, looking at the introduction, looking at the opening cutscene, and being like, "Yeah, we're in for a real treat here." And it's like
yeah.
those like the animations and stuff are super clean, and I'm just kind of like, and as I was playing it, because I have Game Pass, so I started playing on Game Pass. I got halfway through. It's like I gotta give these people money. They deserve to get
Only
paid.
it's $29.99, so it's not like they're like, it's not like they're trying to take advantage of you. It's a budget title, but you don't feel like it doesn't feel like a budget title. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel cheap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know?
I was like, and dumb me, because I always get my hopes up when games like this come out. It's like
Mhm.
maybe the industry will finally wake up and realize, wait, maybe we don't need to put all these resources in the games. Maybe we can make low budget games that are high quality.
No,
No,
no, man. No, it's
don't hold
just
your breath. Don't.
man.
I always
Did
do
you slap
that.
yourself? Did you slap
Yeah,
yourself after you made that statement?
yeah.
Maybe the industry will be better. No, no, no. I'm sorry.
No,
I don't even know
no.
how. I don't even know why I screwed my mouth up to say some stupid shit like that. I'm sorry.
Exactly, exactly. Well, it's definitely. I know it's only the beginning of the year, but it's definitely. It's definitely on the list for game of the year. Will it be game of the year? We have to wait because more games still have to come out, but it's definitely on my list.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even if it's not game of the year, I'm going to be like, this is what we should be getting, and we aren't getting because everyone keeps on trying to make everything be really expensive, AAA, etc., etc. Spending more money than you can afford. Now, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean there's no room for. That doesn't mean there's no room for AAA. It just means that not every game needs to be AAA. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying that there shouldn't be those marquee titles that look expensive.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But you need to have room for stuff that was made on a tight budget, and you know, if it doesn't sell ultra well, people aren't going to lose their jobs.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. So, speaking of other games that people are relatively happy about coming out, Dead Space. I had in our first topic. Dead Space Remastered came out a few days ago.
yep.
Came out Friday. Have you played it? I've seen it. I've seen
I haven't
gameplay of it.
played it. I never really liked the original Dead Space, so
Uh,
I don't necessarily care much for the new one.
yeah, yeah. I might pick it up someday, but looks pretty good. Looks pretty nice. Here it's running into some issues, but it's nothing that sounds majorly game breaking or anything. But
The big
I've
issue I
heard,
heard was that, well, not the big issue. The only real controversy I've heard is that people are kind of mad that some hardcore old school fans are mad that they put an option in to lower the disturbing content in the game. So,
mm,
seeing Isaac get horrifically murdered or horrifically execute some of the what do they call it? The Necron or some shit? I can't remember. The space zombies, because that's what they are. Um,
uh, see,
you know, it,
I never really got that just because if you can tailor make the game and how you want to play it, I'm not necessarily against it. It's just when you start taking away stuff that
Yeah.
people actually
Well,
actually
they didn't
want.
take it away. They just gave the option that for people who maybe that's a little, they want to play the game, but they don't want the scary shit. They just take that out.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand where they're like. I understand both sides of it. I understand being able to tailor make your game to fit your play style, but I
Yeah.
also understand it's like, well, I mean, this is a horror game. It's supposed to be scary and uncomfortable. That's kind of the purpose of the game. Like, that's why everybody's here
No,
because it's
look, man. I understand that. I'm just simply saying, giving people the option who want to play the game but are too much of a, I mean, pardon my French, pussies for it to be scary. They can still play the game. They can still enjoy it. It's just,
yeah, yeah. I mean, because
because I
there's
mean,
a
ultimately, let's keep it 100%, man. There are games that we have all played that I wish gave me the option to do things. Could you imagine if you could play Ocarina of Time and skip having to listen to Navi? You could skip
yeah,
those cutscenes. Wouldn't that make that game so much easier? It's
yeah.
like
I mean,
I don't have to listen to Mido talk about it's your fault the great Deku Tree died. Well, why did you say that to that big motherfucker, that big redhead black man? Like, why are you talking shit to me, man? Look, Mr. Billy Badass over here. Uh, why aren't you talking to the people who are the real problems around here, bruh? You know,
yeah.
or I mean, how many times do I have to see the Great Deku Tree die? We get it, man. He's gonna die. Okay, we get. Can I please move on with the rest of the game? Something with the other Legend of Zelda games, you can in fact skip those cutscenes. It's just it's just here that it's like, oh no, it's so integral to the story. I'm like, is it though? So I mean, like giving people the option to skip stuff and to take certain stuff out, I think is okay. I'm not gonna be like, oh well, how dare they ruin the sanctity of Dead Space, because Dead Space isn't like this sanctimonious ultimate game. You know what I mean? It's a horror game. It's not even all that scary, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. It really isn't. I mean, the from what I've played of at least Dead Space 2, like, 'cause I haven't played too much of Dead Space 1. There's definitely an interesting story there, and it can be. I understand if you are more interested in that part than you are in the maybe less interested in the being scared all the time part. But so I'm not against having options. For example, Bravely Default 2 had an option where you can change your or Bravely Default, the first game, where you
Both of
can
them.
change. Oh, both of them had it, where you can change
Yep.
the pit rate or the battle
Yeah, you
rate,
could change the encounter rate. Yep.
the encounter rate. It's like, man, this is fantastic. This always should have been in these sort of games. Like,
Yep.
it's just that you want to level up quickly. Just turn it up. And if you're just looking to get to the next part of the story, then you can just basically turn the encounter rate down to zero. So it's like, yeah, options are good. Being able to tailor make your experience is great, and it's good to see when games do that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, like I said, some people are like, "Oh man, they ruined the game." It's like, no, if you take out a feature that should be there, that's when I'm going to be like, "How dare you?" But if people are just giving people the option to make something a little less disturbing but still enjoy the game, because let's keep it real, you ought to be glad EA did anything that y'all wanted. Because EA normally is like, "Oh, you gamers want something? Fuck you. We're going to monetize the shit out of it until you die."
Well, yeah, I mean, it's crazy that they put this much
Effort.
polish and effort into this game. Like, I'm genuinely surprised.
So, I'm not getting it because, like I said, I'm not a huge Dead Space fan. But for those people who are, I mean, hey, you got to win.
Yeah.
Now, if only EA would make another Sim City game and not fuck it up with online DRM and like do a game of the year of Sims 4 at this point.
Yeah.
They probably won't because it's EA and EA is known for their ability to just take good things that should be good and just messing them up because that's what EA does. Hey, this is awesome. How can I mess it up?
Yeah.
But that's just my own personal opinion. I know some people are going to be like, "Oh, don't say that."
Yeah. Yeah. But in any case, so Microsoft had their developer conference. Um, what was it developer conference director? So it was some sort of poorly worded title, but in that developer conference, they when we talked about this earlier, they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush, which no millions of dollars of advertisement for 2.5 years. They said they talked about the game and they said,
Here's the
hey, this
game.
game's coming out today, and it was able to jump up to the top 10 of the Steam charts. So it's just it's stuff like this that makes you wonder. I'm not saying everything should be shadow dropped, but it just seems like sometimes these companies pour unnecessary amounts of resources into uh, into getting the word out there for their game, especially when they show CGI trailers for the first couple of years, and then as time gets closer, then they start showing gameplay, and then the game comes out, and then everybody's disappointed.
Yeah, because
So
they get overhyped or they put their own what they think the game's going to be into the ether, instead of keeping an open mind. I mean, the exact opposite happened to Forspoken, where I've played that game. It's actually pretty good. But them dropping those shitty trailers where they had her, this character saying cringy ass shit didn't help that game because people were going in to play that game just to hate it
that's
versus
definitely
just having an open mind.
yeah, that's probably a possible. That's definitely a possibility. I mean, I don't know. I don't. I might pick that game up on a sale, and when it has more patches or whatever. But I don't. It's not really never really was all that big of a deal, especially when they were complaining about the dialogue. And it's just like I've played plenty of action games like third person action games like that.
Yeah, yeah.
They all kind of have cringy dialogue. Like it's not
To,
this isn't
to be fair, yeah. Like I said, most of the people that I've seen that are complaining about Forspoken, like they aren't complaining about the gameplay. They aren't saying that the gameplay things. Like, oh, I actually enjoyed the game, but this like something that's like incredibly minor. They're complaining about. I'm like, well, you had your mind made up before you played the game, and then you looked for things that confirmed the bias that you already had.
yeah yeah yeah
Which I mean, look, man. If someone wants to spend money on some shit, it's their money. They can do whatever they want. But I mean, I wouldn't spend $70 on something just to hate it.
yeah
you know?
yeah yeah, and Square Enix isn't necessarily the the darling of the industry right now. I mean, I guess people are excited about Final Fantasy 16, but what sort of
Yeah.
BS is that going to be filled with? Like,
Well, the thing is, the reason people are excited about Final Fantasy 16 is because Yoshi P, the guy who turned around Final Fantasy 14, is behind Final Fantasy 16. Plus, he made Final Fantasy 12, which you could argue and say is the last good Final Fantasy.
yeah,
Um, I won't like personally. I think Final Fantasy 12 has some really good has some really good ideas in it. I think the thing that hurts Final Fantasy 12 is that they made Vaughn your they made Vaughn the face of that game, and Vaughn is one of the most insipid and insufferable characters I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like Vaughn is a terrible protagonist. Really, the main character of that game should have been Bosch, whose a brother was the guy who basically got Bosch fucked. Like because they thought like he basically took his brother's outfit and killed the king of that kingdom.
yeah,
Like that he should have been the main character, or Balthier should have been the main character, or Ash, who was really the main character, should have been the main character. The problem with the last two Final Fantasies, like good Final Fantasies 10 and 12, is that they chose the wrong protagonist for those games. Like the protagonist of Final Fantasy 10 should have just been Yuna.
yeah, yeah. That's what everybody says. And I agree. I've definitely played through Final Fantasy X. It really should have been Yuna.
Titus is just annoying,
Yeah,
but he's annoying. But he does have a character arc. But Vaughn doesn't have a character arc. He's the same piece of shit in the beginning of the game as he is at the end of the game.
yeah,
Like he's a shittier version of Titus, which
yeah,
is amazing because Titus is pretty bad. But Titus, like I said, does have a character arc. By the end of Final Fantasy X, Titus realizes, oh wait, I was being a complete piece of shit. I need to be better, and he
yeah,
dies
yeah,
because it turns out he's just a figment. He's just a fucking figment of someone's imagination.
yeah, yeah,
So it's like, oh well, okay. But you don't. But yeah, anyway, so that's why people are excited about Final Fantasy 16 because they finally have someone competent to make Final Fantasy. They finally have a competent director of the Final Fantasy franchise. I still don't think Yoshi P is really like the end all be all because, like I said, Square Enix has they can't get games out in a timely manner,
yeah,
right? Because when I was a kid, every console generation, Squaresoft could make 3 Final Fantasies plus other shit, but you got
yeah,
at least 3 Final Fantasies.
yeah,
And now it's like you might get one per console gen,
yeah, exactly.
and I mean, it's hard to get excited about a franchise, about a series when a game comes out and it may or may not be good.
Yeah.
Because Final Fantasy 13 was hot buttered ass.
Oh yeah, that whole trilogy was just like, well, we need to play for this dumb engine that we decided to build, so
Yeah,
we gotta we gotta make these games, and we're still
and
paying for this dumb engine because we blew our budget several times with 15. So now we've made things worse for ourselves.
thing is, the games weren't even like Final Fantasy 13. That whole trilogy wasn't even a Final Fantasy series. They took the license and they said this is Final Fantasy. And I'm like, it isn't though.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
shit that y'all made up. It's some shit that they made up because they wanted to. It's basically they were working on a game and they were like, we're gonna put Final Fantasy on this because we need to have a Final Fantasy game come out. That's what it was. It's not like, oh, we're making a new Final Fantasy. No, you're not.
yeah.
But whatever.
But yeah, um, so it's just I mean, and then going to Destiny, they spent they spent like 2 3 years cock teasing everybody with that game, and then it just came out to a big wet. Then it came out to as being a big wet fart. And the problem is that I mean, obviously there's
You
internal
meant
drama.
Anthem.
Not Anthem. Well, there's
Yeah,
Anthem,
Anthem.
and then there's Destiny. They both did it. Destiny was more successful uh, still, they were still able to foster a player base, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of internal drama that prevented that game from being what it was. The original intention of that game was destroyed because there was some internal drama. People got fired, and things had to
Yeah.
be scrapped, and it was a big mess. And
Yep.
so, and then you had Anthem as well. I mean, you bring up Anthem. That too was a game that was teased for at least a couple of years. And then, as soon as I started hearing about people leaving and about writers leaving, and then that Kotaku article came out uh, after the game came out to not even a lukewarm
No, that
fanfare.
game came out to a fart. A wet, stinky, like you thought you were just gonna slip one out, but you shit in your pants a little bit fart. that,
Yeah,
that
it was
was
bad.
Anthem. And the thing is like everyone should have known that game was going to be bad because you had an RPG studio not making an RPG.
Yeah,
Like, what did you expect? Did you honestly think it was going to be good?
yeah. That was pretty. Yeah, I remember people. It was in a Discord call at the time. People were super excited about Anthem. It's like, yeah, this game's gonna be great. Look at the graphics. Look at the fact that you can also go underwater. That's another layer of games that like everybody. People were so hyped
People
about that
trying to
game.
talk themselves into it's going to be good. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
really.
It wasn't even a. It was barely even a vertical slice that they showed because they had to show the demo because they
That's all they
needed.
had.
Yeah, they needed to go to E3 with something. They didn't have anything, so they just threw some shit together, and that was all she wrote. you
Yeah.
know.
You know what the sad thing is about
Uh,
Anthem, though? The really sad thing about Anthem is that, like, the sad thing about Anthem is that it's the same problem is that people, Mass Effect Andromeda could have been good, but they pulled people from the studio making Mass Effect 4 to go work on Anthem. And you wound up having two games that were Dragon Age 2, you had tons and tons of reused assets. Like you would go into a dungeon, like you would get a side quest, go into a dungeon, and then like like functionally go take another quest in the same area, and you would go into the same dungeon except like a door would be blocked off,
yeah,
and it was like old BioWare wouldn't have done this. EA BioWare was totally fine with it because they had to meet a deadline.
yeah, yeah. Like it's. I remember and I read a big chunk of that article. They had people talking about the Bioware magic, and just somehow magically everything works together. Well, the magic was gone. There was no magic to be had. They pushed the magic button, and nothing happened.
Well, first of all, Bioware magic is bullshit. We all know what Bioware magic is. We work our employees until they have a psychological break and they're emotionally exhausted and they have to take a 6 month hiatus. That is not magic. That's overworking people. That's some Kaizo shit.
Yeah, that's like being a mangaka or an animator in Japan or Korea, like like work where they just basically work you to the bone.
Or
Uh,
Sakurai, whose arm is about to fall off.
yeah, it's just
It's like, bro, why are you working to the point where your arm's gonna fall off? Well, I'm the only one. No, you're not the only one who can do this. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
uh, like he has like the anime protagonist mentality. I'm the only one that could do that.
Like, nah, look, listen, look.
I'm the main
If
character
I
in the
don't show up to
story.
work, my business isn't going to burn down. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying just be an absentee, but if every once in a while you're just like, yeah, I did something else, it's not gonna, no one's gonna die. It's not gonna be on fire when you get back.
Yeah.
It's like, calm the fuck down. Look, and this isn't like for business owners. This is anyone. If you have a
Yeah.
job where you're the only one who can do anything, leave that job
Yeah.
because you like. I hate to break this to people. You need a work-life balance.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to be able to say, look, my kid's having a football game. I'm going to go to their football game. And if you have a boss that says, don't go, we need you, your boss sucks. That job is
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Now, don't leave until you have another job to go to. Don't just, don't just leave. Don't just, don't just be like, bye. But you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was the Bioware magic. Yeah, like, hey, keep on working until you're exhausted and you can't even get out of bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't even sound good. That sounds terrible. But yeah, that's what we live in, folks. That was BioWare magic. And clearly it didn't work because has BioWare what was the last really good game BioWare made?
Right. Dragon Age, right? With most people's standards.
No, Dragon Age, Mass Effect 2.
Mass Effect. Yeah. Mass Effect 2. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm sure the timeline of these games. So
Yeah, there was
Mass Effect.
first it was Mass Effect, then Dragon Age,
Yeah.
then Mass Effect 2, then Dragon Age 2.
Yeah.
Actually, Mass Effect 2 and Dragon Age 2, I think they came out in the same year. One reason why that game was fucking rushed because they were also working on that other game. All right?
Yeah.
And then that's it. Like Mass
Yeah.
Effect 3 was controversial. Dragon Age Inquisition, even though that game got Game of the Year, in hindsight, there is no publication that gave that game a high score that can defend how bad that game was.
Yeah.
So ultimately, what I'm saying is this: no one should be surprised that EA couldn't. I mean, that Bioware couldn't make good games anymore because they hadn't
Yeah.
made a good game for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
like you're talking. Let's see, Mass Effect 3, 1, Dragon Age 2, 3, um, Anthem, yeah, Mass Effect, Dragon Age. What else did they do? Inquisition. That's 3. They made 3 really bad games in a row. So what made you think that the fourth game was going to be a? They turned it back around.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
What y'all think this is like a high school musical where you know that plucky ass team is going to turn everything around? We're
Yeah.
plucky.
Yeah. We're gonna
Yeah.
figure it out, guys. We're gonna get it together. No.
We don't have a quarterback. We don't have we don't have a quarterback. We don't have anything. But we gonna make it. It's like no.
No.
But that's Bioware magic. Bioware magic, aka bullshit.
Yeah.
But that's my own personal opinion. I know some people are going to disagree because everyone always disagrees with everything everyone says. Look, man, if you like BioWare's games, if you like Inquisition, God bless you, but I was not impressed with that title. I thought it was hot buttered ass.
Yeah. It was a buggy piece of shit. Like
What,
somebody was saying.
Dragon Age Inquisition?
Inquisition. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of buggy, but for me, it wasn't the bugginess of that game that made it not fun for me. It was the fact that it felt like I was playing a shitty MMO where there was no one on the server.
Yeah.
Because playing the game, I'm like, this feels like an MMO, but a really shitty one.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really feel like, I'm not against, like, I'm not one of those people, oh, how dare you play an MMO? I'm not against people playing MMOs or taking, like, I actually, no, I take that back. I am against people taking historically single player RPGs and turning them into an MMO. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, uh, if you're gonna turn a single player game into an RPG, go all the way and don't do that shit that BioWare did, where they basically turned Dragon Age into an MMO with Inquisition, but it's not even fun. Like
Yeah.
Inquisition's not a fun game to play. Like all the character classes are just some shit that you could make that anyone could make. There's no unique class except for your main character. But that's it. It's like, wow, this is lazy. There's no interesting like the writing for the characters is kind of interesting, but aside from that there's nothing really interesting going on with the characters, and I'm like, ugh, this is disappointing.
Yeah.
But hey, to each his own. I can't tell people how to feel about a game, even if I want to.
Well, and well, also, what was I gonna say? Like I said earlier, going back to the Hi-Fi Rush thing, none of these publishers aren't gonna learn their lesson. So, you know,
No, why should they learn their lesson? People are going to buy their games. People are going to buy their games anyway. Even
yeah,
if they're trash, people will buy them.
yeah,
This game is steaming pile of shit. I'm gonna buy it because I want to play with my friends. Because it's the hit game to play. Because I can stream it on my Twitch channel. People don't care. They have no compunction. People are selfish. As long as it makes them happy, they're okay with it.
yeah,
Which is sad, but that's the state of things. Okay.
yeah, yeah. But in any case, moving on from that topic, another thing that came out, the PlayStation DualSense controller. It has all the bells and whistles except a longer
Good
lasting
battery.
battery. They actually
Yeah.
shortened they actually made a smaller battery. You're charging $200 for this freaking thing. And one of the cool neat features about it is you can actually replace the entire joystick housing. It's like a quick release thing that you can replace. But you're charging people $200 for this thing. And you can't even put in a longer lasting battery. Okay, all right.
Yeah, but that's asking too much, man. Plus, there's a perfectly good solution to fix that shitty battery. Just keep it plugged in.
Yeah. I mean, if you're really a pro, you're just gonna play wired. It's like well,
That's
that's
true,
not the point.
man.
That's
That's
not the point,
true.
though.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like
Look, man. If you're a real gamer, you're gonna just keep that shit wired all the time, man. Everyone knows that. I'm a real gamer. I keep my shit wired.
I mean, at one in one case, yeah, you have a better connection when you played wired, especially if you play competitively. But two, that's not the point. That's not the point. So you're 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 actually making again, you're charging $200 for this, quote unquote controller that's supposed to be
Pro controller.
versatile, pro controller.
Yeah.
They should
This is
expect
for,
pro
This for
features for
hardcore gamers.
yeah. It should have you know pro features for every aspect, not just wired but also wireless.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
uh,
see that makes sense, dude. And we don't make sense around here.
yeah,
I mean, you know why they made that controller, right?
to compete with Microsoft.
No,
No.
they made that controller because they didn't have enough parts to. They didn't have enough parts. They don't have enough parts to make a new PS5 because there's still a parts shortage. But they have to have some type of money coming in.
Yeah.
Because did you notice when when the parts shortage was real bad? Sony even stopped telling people where you like play it on PlayStation 5 and just told you can buy a controller. Like, yeah, you can buy a controller. Oh, that's great. I can buy a controller for a system that I can't get. Hey,
Yeah.
man, that's brilliant, man. Next, you're gonna tell me that hey, if you don't want to get raped in jail, don't go to jail. It's like, oh, thanks. Wow. What other sage words of wisdom do you have for me, sir? Hey, man, you don't want to get pulled over by the police? Don't speed. Okay, all right, okay. You're gonna save my life, Sony.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm being irate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing. Yeah.
No, go ahead, sir.
It's like the whole things are
Ridiculous.
ridiculous. Yeah. I don't like. It's like to me. I think the controller is nice, but I can't justify the price because of
Lower battery life.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
Well, they had to make a choice. They had to have all those features, but to give you a smaller battery. Or you could do what Microsoft does with their Pro controller, where you can put a battery in there yourself.
yeah.
But that takes time and energy. And, why should they do that when they can just do the bare minimum? And I guarantee there's some dumbasses that bought a PS5 Pro controller. I know it's not called that, but that's functionally what it is. It's the PS5 Pro controller. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, the PlayStation, the Dual Sense Edge, but yeah, it's the Pro controller.
It's their Pro controller. That's all it is. It's just their version of a Pro controller.
Yeah.
If anyone tells me, no, it's not, come on. We all know what this shit is.
Yeah.
Stop being stupid. But yeah, that Sony's trying to bring in money because they can't get enough PlayStation 5s on the shelves, because all the money that the parts shortage and all that shit, which I'm not bothered by because I know I mostly game on PC these days, and I have an Xbox Series X, so I really am not like, oh my god, I have to. I already have two 9th gen systems,
Yeah.
and when Sony said like most of their most of their next gen shit's also going to hit PC, so it's like,
Yeah.
I have very few incentives to get a PS5 at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause I was talking to somebody earlier this week, and apparently they want to put at least 70% of their games on PC. So it's like, well, might as well just not worry about getting a PS5.
No. I mean, basically, I'll tell you when I'll get a PS5. I'll get a PS5 when the next Sony system comes out and it's not backwards compatible. I'll get a PS5 because by then I know there'll be a huge library and games will be on sale. and I'll be able to like have a decent library.
Yeah.
But at this point, I have no incentive to get a. I have no incentive to get a PS5. Not only that, but I mean, I can't even find a PS5, so I really have no incentive to get a PS5. Because every time they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, we got a PS5 in stock," and by the time I get there, they're sold out. I'm like, "Okay, I guess I won't get one." You know,
Yeah.
you're not gonna see me on the side of the street selling ass for for a PS5. uh, anyway,
Anyway, so yeah, we'll move on to our last topic before free topic. Rumor Nintendo Direct, February. Um, what do you hope to see from this Direct? Do you care about Directs anymore?
I mean,
I
I don't really care about the directs because there's no there like the thing. Knowing the limitations of the Switch, there is no game that Nintendo could announce that would make me care all that much. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I like Tears of the Kingdom. I know they'll probably talk about that. Don't give a shit because I didn't like Breath of the Wild. So why would I care about the sequel? Unless they're like, yeah, all that shit that old school Zelda fans didn't like about Breath of the Wild. Well, we're getting rid of that and we're adding more traditional elements. But they ain't gonna do that.
yeah,
So I'm not gonna even you know I'm not even gonna embarrass myself like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
On the other end of the spectrum, you've got they might announce Metroid Prime, but here's the problem. Do I really want Metroid Prime 4 trying to run on the Switch or them scaling shit down to get it to run on the, kind of broken Switch?
yeah,
No, I do not. So this becomes one of those things where it's like, I don't really care. Not to mention, even like if there isn't a direct, I don't care. If there is a direct, I don't care.
yeah. I'm right there with you. I can't. I don't have the. I don't have. I just don't really care that much about the directs. If they happen, they happen. If they don't, they don't. I'll just know after the fact. And if there's something I'm interested in, more than likely it's probably gonna hit PC. I mean,
Yeah, like Octopath Traveler 2, it's day and date with everything else. Even though they're like marketing it, it's only coming to the Switch. Nah, it's hitting PC too, so I don't
yeah,
even have to buy that shit on the Switch. Even though, I mean, I bought Octopath Traveler again on PC because I like that game so much.
yeah,
So like I'll get the next game next month on PC. Plus a lot of other shit. I'm getting Yakuza Ishin. I'm getting let's see what else am I getting? Yakuza Ishin. Um Octopath Traveler 2. There's something else coming out next month I'm getting too. Basically, next month the gaming budget's going to be real low because I'm getting a lot of shit next month.
yeah.
I almost feel bad about it, but then I realize I don't care. But how do you feel?
Um, about the direct.
Hmm?
About what?
Like, what could they show that would make you say, "Okay, you've changed my mind. I care."
Uh, I don't know. I think if honestly, if they announced their next console, or if they teased their next console, not announced
Yeah.
it, but
Well,
teased it,
then
maybe
you
I would
gonna
be,
be you gonna be hoping for a long time.
I would be interested. But
Yeah.
like you said, not gonna hold my breath because I'll probably
You
die.
pass out, you
Yeah,
die.
pass out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So
eh. Okay, I'll tell you a game they could announce that would make me say, okay, I care. There's a rumor that Nintendo's working on a new 2D Mario game. If they show a new 2D Mario game, and not with that fucking 2.5D 3D model bullshit, but like more of a classical art style, I'll go with it.
yeah, I
I'll
think
care.
yeah, yeah, I agree
But
with
if they're
that.
just gonna do the shit they've been doing, that ugly ass new Super Mario Brothers art style, which I never liked. I've never liked the new Super Mario Brothers art style. I
Yeah,
played it because that's what we had, but I never liked it. Um, remember my favorite Super Mario Brothers is Super Mario World for the SNES, so that's the art style of Mario I like.
yeah,
Um, so for me, if they announce that, if Nintendo hadn't started announcing they're utilizing some of their older IPs more, like if we got a new Donkey Kong Country or a new F Zero or something, or
yeah,
they were localizing some older games that they kind of neglected, I'd be cool. But if it's just like them not doing a damn thing, just we're doing this, or maybe if they do some Nindies. But the problem with the Nindy announcements is that all that shit's also coming to PC, so it's like that's
yeah,
cool, but I'm not getting this on the Switch.
yeah, yeah. It's like it's cool that you announced it and stuff, but I'll play this elsewhere. I can play this elsewhere.
It's like I ain't playing this shit on the Switch.
Yeah,
Sorry. I know you didn't like that, but I know you got mad about that, but I'm not playing this shit on the Switch.
exactly.
Oh man. Some people gonna get mad when you say that. They're gonna get upset because people get mad all the time. But that's how I feel. Um, I don't know. Although I'm guessing they'll probably talk about games that they're probably not going to talk about Breath of the Wild. They're probably going to talk about games that Nintendo's releasing for the end of their fiscal year. So their spring March 31st games. The games they
Yeah,
release at the end of their fiscal year to make their books look really good.
yeah, yeah. That's probably it.
It might be a Kirby game because Kirby games are cheap and easy to make. They don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I
You
mean,
know,
they already have one Kirby game coming out.
Yeah, they
That's
might do
just
an expansion for that or some shit. It's like a brand new game. It's hard mode or some shit. I don't know, man. At this point, like the new president of Nintendo does not like if it was Iwata announcing something, I might care. But the new guy sucks, so I don't. It's like, I stopped caring when they let them release that fucking Pokemon game that was broken as shit.
yeah, that's pretty bad.
And then they lied and said, "Oh, we didn't hear any issues about the quality of this game, but we're just going to release a patch to fix the quality of this game." I'm like, "You lying motherfucker, you."
Yeah,
Come on,
exactly.
man. I mean, look, man, I know you're a business and business exists to make money, okay? I'm a business owner. I would listen. I run my business to make money. You work to make money. You're not working just because it feels good. You're working to make money. Okay, I understand that. But conversely, just like you work for your money, you want to spend it on products that are worthy of you spending your money on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And you releasing a product that's in that state and then lying about it. Just be honest. Hey, yeah, the game was put out before it was ready. We're sorry. They aren't, because really, this shit was about money. They were like, look, we got to sell this merchandise that's related to this game so we can make more money. This shit's about money. Okay, cool. But they can't say that to customers because, you've got the Pokemon fanboys who will make excuses for the state that game was in. Because, the Pokemon company could bust in their house and sleep with their girlfriend and be like, "Yeah, guess what? I got the clap. I gave it to your girlfriend." And they'd be like, "Well, it's Pokemon. They gotta do what they gotta do. The Pokemon fanboys will take anything. They'll take anything as long as they get to play their game. As long as they get their fix, they don't care. It means nothing. As long as they get to play Pokemon, they are happy. I'm not like that because there's certain games that I'm like, yeah, I can't play this because the people behind it are just bastards. I haven't bought an Activision Blizzard game in years because Activision Blizzard is made up of bastards.
Yeah.
And I used to like ABV games.
That was a long time ago.
Yep. So when people tell me, oh, well, it's et cetera, this, and this, I'm like, eh. But, people want to get their fix. And as long as they get their fix, they're happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. As long as, As long as Nintendo keeps pumping out their games, they'll be happy.
Or whatever company they like. Really, Nintendo is just an easy example, but it's any company someone likes. EA, Activision, Ubisoft, Blizzard. This goes beyond movies. This goes beyond video games. This could be movies, anything really, any entertainment. Their favorite author, their favorite sport.
Yeah. But you got any free topics before we close out the show?
One free topic. My free topic is this. DC, James Gunn, and Peter Safran announced some of their new shit. Their slate of stuff. They're going to make a Brave and the Bold property. They're going to make something using the Brave and the Bold property. It's going to involve Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne, so that's cool. They're bringing back Superman. Hopefully, this Superman won't be murdering the shit out of people.
Yeah.
Like kill half the city and be like, yeah, but that makes me horny for Lois. That sweet, sweet Lois Lane. It's like, really? That gets you? That's your Austin Powers horniness right there, Superman.
Yeah.
Destroying a city, murdering a lot of people by accident. And the one death that really sent him over the edge was when he had to snap General Zod's neck. Really, that was the. We don't have to see that Superman. We don't have to see another origin story of Superman, so we don't have to see Krypton get exploded again. Because I don't know about you, I'm tired of seeing Krypton get exploded. We've seen it in every iteration of Superman. Every iteration of Superman, even back in the day when there were radio broadcasts about Superman. They were basically, we had to hear about Krypton getting exploded. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure them people are tired of getting exploded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, look, can we please move on from our planet exploding and us all dying in a horrific way? Please, can we do something different, please? So, thank God we're getting a new Superman TV show that doesn't have that going on, or a movie. I don't know what it is. We're getting some stuff about the new Batman movie, which I'm happy about because I liked Matt Reeves' Batman. So, we're getting Green Lantern Corps, which is going to be like a procedural detective thing where, because the Green Lanterns in the comics are basically space cops.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Um, oh yeah, there's some good stuff coming down the pipeline. And the only thing that had to happen is that we had to kill the Snyderverse. Thank God.
Yeah. Snyderverse is dead.
Finally,
Well, not
he
me.
finally died. Thank God.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to see. I never wanted to see a universe die more than the Snyderverse, because the Snyderverse was hot buttered trash, and I'm tired of people trying to. I'm tired of the Snyder fanboys getting mad at people who didn't like Zack Snyder's interpretation of the DC universe. It's like, well, I
Yeah.
don't understand how we could ever have how you could have an altruistic character, because that's bullshit. I'm like, no, it's bullshit that you're a director and you don't have the concept of there being an altruistic superhero.
Yeah.
But it's Zack Snyder, so his films are shit, and he's also not a very good person.
Yeah.
But anyway, there we go, folks. Snyderverse is dead, so we got some good shit coming down the pipeline now that we don't have to sit there and have, long ass, super slow mo music videos about characters. Thank God.
So,
So we can have peace now.
speaking of things dying, E3 might actually they might actually be taking E3 off of her ventilator. Might be over for the old girl because Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo apparently aren't showing up at E3 this year.
That's what they
Uh,
said.
that's what they said. So,
Oh, they said Microsoft said we're gonna have something there, but we're not gonna be at E3, which is just a fancy way of saying I'll be at the party, but I'm not hanging out with you.
yeah, that's that's essentially what Microsoft said. But
Yeah.
I honestly I was thinking about this because I know you brought this up. I think there probably should be, when you think about it more, there should be a place where people can congregate, a physical location, and you know see and interact with the games that are coming out
Yep.
within the next year. I think something like that should exist.
Yep.
Uh, so hopefully, somebody can figure out. I hope to God it's not Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think Jeff Keighley's bullshit is going to be a replacement for E3 if E3 can't pull it together. What I do think is that, I do think if E3 if they can get the third parties on board, they can still do something
Yeah,
um, next year. But what I do think is going to happen is that what's probably going to happen after that is they're probably going to have to make some major concessions. But that's okay. But I keep on saying this. There needs to be a physical place where people, because here's the thing: for gamers, we saw E3 as a place to get information about new games. But
yeah,
indie developers, second-party developers, E3 was a place where they could go and talk with their. It was a trade show where they could go and talk with their coworkers, people also in the industry, and have really good discussions about how to make
yeah,
better games and shit like that, which is good because those people knowing how to make better games means that they make better games that we can play,
yeah,
and that's a good thing.
yeah. Exactly.
So people who are like, oh no, this E3 needs to go, yeah, so that we can get Jeff Keighley and his fucking giant commercials that he calls summer games, the game award show.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Nah, no, thank you. E3
Yeah,
was bad, but Jeff Keighley's bullshit is worse.
yeah,
And I know some people will be like, "Oh no, don't say that." Come on, man. We all know, we all know E3 is bad, but Jeff Keighley's bullshit is worse.
yeah,
And I don't want to hear anyone say, "Oh no, it's not." Come on, man. Let's
yeah,
let's not pretend that the Game Awards show wasn't some bullshit.
yeah.
Because we know it was.
Yeah, that
We
Game
know it was
Award.
some bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. It was. It was. I mean, because I heard that announcement today, and I was like, yeah, there needs to. And thought about it, it's like, yeah, there needs to be a place where people can go and just learn about the stuff because there is a it's not even if you were to just have a chance to play demos or whatever, it's just not the same thing, you know.
No.
It's just not the same. So
I mean, I keep on telling people this. There needs to be a place where people, where gamers can go, but it's not even really, it's a trade show. It's not really there for gamers. It's there for people. It's there for people. It's a trade show for the industry to sit there and talk about, hey, these games are really good. Go and play
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Or hey, how'd I'm using an Unreal Engine as well. How did you get this special effect? How did you get, you're working on this system. How were you able to get this type of stuff through the system? Like, how were you able to utilize to get these certain particle effects? Like, they need places where they can do that. Like, you got GDC, but not everyone's going to Cologne, Germany. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's sad to you see this happen, but I honestly think they should have seen the writing on the wall years ago and did something to change it. I mean, I know COVID happened and it kind of I guess gave people a new perspective on certain things, but at
I'm
the
gonna I'm gonna
but
keep it 100% real with you. COVID just exacerbated something that was already there
yeah,
because people were getting. Thing is, E3 stopped being about games and became a big commercial, and that was not good. It also didn't help that you had all those. Remember those E3s where people's personal information was getting leaked and shit.
yeah, yeah, I remember that.
So I mean,
Yeah, also it became too closed off to the public as well. I know you've mentioned
yeah,
that should have been a little more open to the public.
yep.
Um, Another thing I hate about E3 are these weird like private,
Special boys club.
special boys club sessions that some of these companies have. I
Yep.
mean that's annoying. It's like, yeah, you're not allowed to see the game. People only people within our inner circle are allowed to see this. Well,
Yeah, because it was special access. But to be fair, a lot of those games were done like that because the game wasn't ready yet. It was
yeah,
fundamentally it was fundamentally broken, and they were like, "We have a build that's stable enough that we can do a little something to it." But in reality, it's like, it wasn't like special access. It was like, oh shit, this game barely runs. Like, because remember when they had the announcements to show off the Xbox One?
yeah,
Like, and remember how they showed it where that guy's like Xbox on, Xbox thing, and every time he said that, he'd reach in his pocket. That's because he was pressing a button to get it to change.
yeah,
It wasn't actually doing any of that shit because it wasn't ready yet.
yeah. Or
Like,
they'll show trailers to. They showed I remember it was the E3 that the Xbox showed up, and they were showing a trailer to, various trailers for games, and they saw somebody with a, behind the scene with a Windows computer. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was actually really wasn't running on an Xbox, huh?
No, I mean, but to be fair, an Xbox is functionally, especially the Xbox One and the Xbox Series S and X, they are functionally just gaming PCs. Like
Yeah,
you can plug a Windows USB controller into an Xbox Series S or Xbox One, and there's like little things you can do, and it functionally is just it's a micro gaming PC.
yeah,
These are not consoles in the classic sense of the word anymore, folks. Or
yeah,
as my favorite Nintendo president Satoru Iwata used to say, "Please understand.
yeah.
Please understand."
PlayStation is essentially, a Linux computer, and then you have Xbox, which is obviously a stripped down Windows computer.
Yeah,
So,
that's what it is. They are functionally gaming PCs,
yeah,
but not even good gaming PCs. Just like kind of mediocre gaming PCs, because you could build something better right now.
yeah,
For $600-700, you could build a better gaming PC than what you're getting from the PS5 and the PS4, and plus have access to a fuck ton more games, because the Xbox has a form of backwards compatibility. The PS5 kind of has backwards compatibility, unless you're talking PS3 and later. But if you have a decent gaming PC, you have backwards compatibility all the way back to DOS. So if you're playing DOS shit, you can play that. You can't say the same thing with all these new consoles.
yeah,
Oh, you want to play your old shit? Well, we'll sell it to you at an exaggerated, overblown price.
yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else you'd like to bring up before we call it a night?
That's it.
Okay. Well, give off your sign off, pimp out what you're doing.
All right. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. Glad to be on another cast, especially one that I didn't have to run. Tomorrow we're going to be discussing on my cast. The big topic is going to be E3. We're also going to talk about the rumored Nintendo Direct. What else? But we're going to split off and instead espouse how freaking awesome Hi-Fi Rush is. And we're going to talk about the Wild Arm successor and the Shadowheart successors that were kickstarted, made a lot of money, and take a look at those. Because the thing is, everyone's like, oh man, we can't make those old games anymore. But, every time someone says, hey, I'm an old game maker and I want you guys to give me money so that we can make an old game, those things sell out. So clearly people want old shit. And I don't know why these companies don't understand that. But we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So that's going to be a fun topic. That's it.
Yeah, this is Kanoshi Abominito. Here at the end of another Project Console Shadow Drop. Glad for those who watch the cast live or watch the cast in the future once it's uploaded. Have a good week, have a good weekend, and have a good life. See you guys next week.
Peace.